and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Challenges Guide. Now, for those who are new to this series, or those that need a bit of a reminder, the weekly challenges are a set of 5 events that go live Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on your region. These usually consist of 4 races that can already be unlocked depending on your progress, while the 5th one, called the Special Event, usually takes form of a one-make race, a time trial challenge, or a mission challenge, whichever one comes up that very week. So without further ado, let's see what is in store this week. We kick things off with the Silvia Sisters event. This is a 3-lap race at Tsukuba Circuit, and requires, of course, any Nissan Silvia model of any year, as well as the 180SX and the Sil 80. So, as long as you have one of those, you can pretty much compete here. So for this, I'm going to use my Silvia Spec Car Aero S15 from 2002 here. And here is my setup, in case you're using a similar car. So, let's do that lap around here. Very short, but also very technical. So you're going to start off second gear with turn 1. And so right about here. There's a very winding short circuit as well, so in addition to not having a lot of room, you also have a lot to set up. Second gear here, and a lot of wide entry corners there, just to ensure you can turn through there. Same over here. I like to get to third to this corner here. I've got the grip to do it. So, powering out through the gears. And here's one of the 2 final corners. This one's one of the hardest ones to get good grip and traction out of. It's like, so right about there. And you should be able to turn out the corner just fine without touching the grass, going into the wall. And then this is another interesting corner there. So I let break the third gear, carry that momentum, again, wide arc and deep in, and accelerate right on out onto the green. That's fine. And that's a lap around Tsukuba Circuit. Now, on to the race itself. So, best spots for overtaking here in the race are turns 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. I feel that those are the most roomy to take advantage of the AI. But beware of the AI in turns 2, 3, and 6. They tend to brake way too much and way too often, and will back you up quite a bit. So if you're going for a clean race bonus there, you might want to be careful about those particular spots. Next is the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600. Now this is a 1-lap race around Fisherman's ranch, and you will need dirt tires, a road car professionally tuned from Japan with 4-wheel drive, so simple as that. So for this, I am going to take this Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 7, I think, or 5. Let's get off the snow tires, get onto the dirt tires, and let's do a lap around here. This one, it's a very long lap and a very tricky one. So there's going to be a lot of second gear, first gear drops there because the corners tighten up quite a bit. Main emphasis being on just powering out of these corners. So, come out of there. In this part, you got 2 jumps, and you want to be as straight as possible so you don't veer into a wall. And this one also, as straight as possible. Out that corner here. And then right into about second gear for this corner there, so you can turn down, accelerate, no wall hits. And accelerate uphill here. And I find these corners are best done in third gear, at least in my hands here. Or you could just sort of slide the car and apply the power as you need, and don't have to worry too much about trying to upshift. And again, throw it through here, as well as here. And it's a good little medium between not being bogged down and forth and not having to upshift. Now here, I usually get off the gas because of that jump. And here's a series of corners. First 2, I take it in second because I don't really need all that much there. And then obviously trying to use the power to rotate there. You can over-rotate, as you see there, so you'll want to be careful what you do. And this is where you go first gear. Try to accelerate on the power a bit, and again. As usual, very easy to over-rotate. And this corner is a bit tricky, so I go over here and then go to the inside. Not only does this help you get through the corner, but also helps with overtaking the AI right there. So, powering through this section here, and this jump right here will catch you out if you're not careful. So try to be as straight as possible, that way you don't veer off into the wall to the left or to the right there since it juts out. Now this corner here, third gear, and I just kind of tend to throw it in there a bit, since I can just power right on out of it, no problem. This corner here, this is another second gear corner I found just because I like to go to the inside and get that powered out. This corner, it was third gear, and now we got this jump. Now you want to be careful with how you go over this jump, and I usually try to get out though as I do. And it stops it from like nose diving there or landing all kinds of weird ways. Second gear through this corner. Obviously, if you get that right, you can actually power slide out of there effortlessly. So second gear here, try to rotate there. I have a little bit of trouble getting that to work in second gear. First gear though was just fine. Once again, so out of here. Full on acceleration to this downhill section here, which has a jump itself. Again, straight as possible. I'll try to set yourself up for this corner to the right. Second gear. And power right on out of here. Full acceleration through this sector right here. And that is a lap around Fisherman's Ranch. So with that done, let's get on to the rather interesting race itself. So, overtaking is going to be very difficult, so I just recommend doing it on the most full throttle sections or in corners with the widest entry possible. This just helps avoid the AI and our overbraking and so forth. But you will want to be aware of the AI any turn taken second or first gear, especially if you're going for a clean race bonus, because there's not going to be a lot of room to make a clean pass and not a lot of room to make a pass at all. Next, the Evolution Meeting. This is a 3-lap race at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagiwa and Miyabi reverse. So another very long one. And any model of Mitsubishi Lancer from any year is pretty much allowed here. As long as you've got something that's up to snuff, pretty much can use it. So with that, I'm going to use my built, insert Evolution Final here. And of course, again, there's a setup for you in case you're using this car yourself there. It's what I use. Maybe not the greatest thing, but it helps me out. And hopefully it'll help you out. So now let's take a lap around this combined circuit here. So we're going down the front straightaway. Now because this is reverse, this is using the reverse layout of Yamagiwa to begin with. So second gear for turn 1. Power right on out to this curve you see here. And then for this uphill section here, I usually take it about third and just nail it over the curb there. And it'll turn the car just fine, despite how bumpy it looks. So we're going to this corner right here. Second gear. Power right on out. And this section's a little bit tricky there because you're trying to get the car ready to slow down. So it's about 5. What is about 5 here? And 6 second gear. And don't want to accelerate just yet because it's very easy to pretty much shoot off into the wall there. You got a 7 there. And we're coming up to one of my favorite sections of this track here, usually on Miyabi, and that is this corner here. Now I tend to go third gear just so I can have enough room to downshift and power right on out, like so, right about here. And right on out to hit the curb. And this is another one of my favorites, just because I love how busy this is. Over that curb and over that curb here. And ooh, hopefully you'll want to avoid not doing that. Second gear. I'll do the curving there. So right on out. And to set yourself up for a wide entry for this corner as well. And you want to be really careful because it is extremely easy to outbrake yourself and overshoot both corners. So accelerate to this uphill section here. And my third favorite section here, this is one of my favorites usually on the Yamagiwa track, this turn here, third gear, and again I go wide and then turn in so I can have the maximum acceleration and run coming out of the corner there, which helps with overtaking. And then this section here, very fun. I'll throttle, and as long as you hit these curves, you will absolutely do just fine here, even as I'm not braking. And of course, another third gear along right-hander. And I keep down here so I can get maximum traction, maximum throttle out of there. So after that big old roller coaster, that is a lap around Kyoto Driving Park Yamagiwa Miyabi reverse. Now let's go on to the race itself. So best spots for overtaking this massive circuit are turns 1, 4, 6, 8, 11, 13, and 18. Felt those are some good spots to execute some overtakes cleanly. Beware the AI turns 2 and 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, and 14 through 17. The AI again over braking and slowing down quite a bit, bogging up stuff. Could get in the way if you're going for that clean race bonus, so be aware of that. Next, the Glen Group 1 Prototype Series, 7 times fuel use and 5 times tire wear on Grand Valley Highway 1, a 10-lap race. And you could use a Group 1 car, you can use something else as well. I wasn't really all that bothered with trying to use something different there, as I was just trying to rush through this, as I was kind of busy. So I ended up choosing, after a very long time of scrolling, the Toyota TS0 to 50. So let's do a lap around here, and we gotta get around this place. So we get around and brake right at about the 200 marker here. Brakes are good enough, so you should be able to brake that late. Accelerate right on out, and because these are high downforce cars, you could pretty much go full blast through this section right here. And I usually lift about in a GT car because the downforce isn't quite there. These, wow. Second gear for this section here, very tricky to overbrake if you don't do it early enough. In this sector here, I usually get out of corner about this part and then downshift just before that WeatherTech sign passes over. It helps me get through it. So second gear to this section as well. A lot of these sections are very easy to kind of overshoot and just be met with a solid wall right there, or a solid barrier. Second gear for this section. I usually do first just for traction, but second right here definitely for maximum exit and taking advantage of the hybrid system on my car in that case. So now we come up to the tunnel here, and I tend to brake just as the 100 marker passes. Again, you got the brakes, got the downforce, you can do it. So here, kind of wind out and then accelerate right here. And you should be pretty much fine for the rest of this section here because it's just flat out, the downforce is there, and even through here. And you'll also be able to pass some of the AI because for some reason they slowed out in that section. But anyhow, that has been a lap around Grand Valley Highway 1. Now, on to the race. So here, racing mediums again, the recommended starting tire just for wear reasons. Short shift for some fuel saving there to get yourself close to the end. Bit on lap 8 to get off the mediums and onto the softs, splash fuel as well. Of course, you also can do a one-stop, but I would recommend racing hards as they've got the necessary wear to make it to the end with no fuel. So, either strategy is available for you if you go for it. And finally, the special race, the Mitsubishi FTO 1 make. It's a 7-lap race around Watkins Glen short course, an interesting choice. And of course, what else but the Mitsubishi FTO GB version R. So, get that. So I'll be getting my built one there. And that's it. So, time to show you how to get around the shorter version of Watkins Glen. So, it begins very similarly to the long course one. You got this straightaway here. You go into turn 1, breaking up about the 300 mark, I found. Pretty suitable for my car anyways. Accelerate right on out to the curb there. As long as you stay on that curb, you're going to be fine. And I tend to get out of all of the S's because sometimes my car is a little bit oversteered. Still trying to figure out the setup. but come out of there well enough. And the first big braking thing after turn 1, of course, is the bus stop here. And I tend to go through here about 4th gear because the downforce and the grip is pretty good through here. And then usually I don't even brake here. I just downshift to 3rd to carry that momentum. And here's where things differ, because you kind of have to hold it a little longer because the track instead joins this back straight here instead of going down into the boot. And of course, brake at the 300 bar. I do it for 3rd gear. And then down again for the final corner, accelerate right on out. And that, if done right, is a lap around Watkins Glen short course. So now, let's go into the race itself here. So, there's not really a wrong place to overtake the AI. Pretty much all the courses here are doable. But the ones I will advise are the S's, the bus stop, and the carousel. The S's, because depending on the kind of car you have, you may have a lot of speed, and they're terrible slowing down. So anyhow, that's it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it, whether you've just logged in or you haven't logged in quite some time. If you do enjoy this, give this a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll be notified when it goes up at its regular time. So, that is it for me, and I will see you guys in the next video.